Welcome to the deep dive. So Bitcoin's been in the news again quite a bit.
It has, yeah. Price is moving.
Right. And a question that keeps popping up is, can you actually mine it? Like from your home PC or your laptop?
Yeah. Is it feasible?
We've looked through a bunch of online stuff, guides, even a video transcript, and they seem to suggest it might be, well, surprisingly simple. A way to maybe dip your toes into crypto.
And maybe earn a little something on the side, potentially.
Exactly. So our mission here for this deep dive is to really get under the hood of that idea.
Right. We want to figure out what mining Bitcoin at home actually involves. Using your regular computer.
What resources you'd need.
Uh-huh. And what a beginner should, realistically expect.
We're trying to cut through some of the hype, maybe. Get to the practical side of what these sources are actually saying.
Yeah, the nuts and bolts.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The central thing in these sources is this platform. It's called NiceHash.
Right. Nice hash.
And the pitch is, well, it sounds pretty compelling. Got a Windows 10 or 11 machine, internet connection.
Which most people do.
Then you can supposedly start mining Bitcoin. One guide even breaks it down into 10 steps, says it takes under 10 minutes.
Wow, okay. That's fast.
It sounds it.
What's interesting there is the accessibility angle, isn't it? They're really pushing this as a low-barrier way into crypto mining.
Yeah, definitely.
And this 10-step process, well, 11 if you count the optional Discord thing.
Ah, yes, the community aspect.
It really emphasizes user-friendliness. Makes you wonder, though, how simple it really is behind the scenes.
Okay, good point. Let's quickly run through those steps as they laid them out.
Let's do it.
So first off, step 1, Windows 10 or 11. Step 2, internet connection.
Right. The basics. Can't really argue there. Non-negotiables.
Then step 3 is about optimizing your system. Turn off the screensaver, disable sleep or hibernate features.
Okay.
And then step 4, close everything else. All programs, files, browsers, shut it all down.
Sounds like you're clearing the decks, basically, giving the mining software all the resources.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mining needs processing power, right? So shutting other stuff down means NiceHash gets priority. It's like closing background apps on your phone to run a heavy game smoothly.
Good analogy. Okay, step 5 is signing up for NiceHash. One source even had a direct link for that.
Convenient.
Then you download stuff. First, the NiceHash Bitcoin miner software. Then, step 7, install the NiceHash BTC mining application.
Right, so 2 pieces of software there.
Seems like it.
And this kind of highlights you're not, directly mining on the Bitcoin network yourself. You're using NiceHash's platform.
Ah, okay.
They're like the go-between. Simplifies things for the user, presumably.
Gotcha. Okay, step 8. This is the big one. Start mining Bitcoin.
And click start.
Apparently. Then step 9, add your Bitcoin wallet address to NiceHash. That's for anyone new, your digital bank account number for Bitcoin, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Where the crypto goes if you earn any.
Crucial step. And then step 10 is basically you're doing it. You're mining Bitcoin.
And that optional step 11, join the hobbyist miner Discord group.
Right, the community part again.
So yeah, on the surface.
Yeah.
Download software, type in an address, click a button, and bam, you're a miner.
Seems almost too easy.
Well, it definitely raises questions like what's your computer actually doing and how much Bitcoin could you realistically, expect?
Yeah, exactly. Which leads us to hardware. The initial hook is definitely use your existing home gaming computer.
Right.
The idea is put those powerful graphics cards, the GPUs and maybe the CPU, to work when you're not actually gaming.
Earn while it's idle.
Potentially generate some extra cash.
Yep. And the focus on gaming computers is key there.
Why is that?
Well, those machines usually have dedicated GPUs, right? Graphics cards. And those are, it turns out, much better for certain types of crypto mining compared to just the standard processor, the CPU, in your average work laptop.
Okay, that makes sense. More specialized power.
Yeah.
And the sources actually list some specific GPU models. Examples they say are good for this.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Let's see. PowerColor Hellhound RX 6600, XFX Speedster RX 6600 XT, MSI GeForce RTX 3060, and a Gigabyte Eagle GeForce RTX 3070.
So, recognizable gaming card names.
Yeah. So while the idea starts as any home PC, it really seems like certain PCs, specifically ones with these kinds of GPUs, are much better suited.
Definitely. The hardware you have is going to make a huge difference to how well it works, how efficient it is.
And how much you might actually earn, presumably.
Precisely. A basic laptop probably isn't going to cut it, realistically.
Right. Now, interestingly, the sources also give a nod to dedicated ASIC miners.
Ah, the specialized hardware.
Yeah, these machines built just for mining, like one job. The author even mentions buying from specific resellers gives discount codes.
Okay, so they're drawing a clear line there,
Seems like it. Between using your everyday gaming PC
which is kind of like a side hustle for the PC.
and investing in proper, purpose-built mining gear.
That's a really important distinction, I think. ASICs are way more powerful for Bitcoin mining specifically, and more energy efficient too, usually.
So, much more serious.
Yeah. The fact they mentioned both suggests that, maybe you start with your PC, but if you get serious, you look at ASICs, it's like using a Swiss Army knife versus a dedicated power tool.
Good way to put it. Okay, let's talk about this passive income idea. Minimal effort and resources. That sounds really appealing.
It always does, doesn't it?
But what does minimal actually mean here?
Well, this is where you need to look a bit closer. The software setup might be quick, 10 minutes maybe. But minimal effort and resources can be, well, a bit misleading. Mining uses electricity, a fair bit of it, potentially.
Ah, the power bill.
Exactly. Depending on where you live and your rates, that cost can add up fast. It could easily, eat into any profit you might make.
That's a huge factor. And what about the computer itself, running it hard all the time?
That's the other thing. Pushing your components, especially the GPU, generates heat. Lots of it.
Which can't be good long term.
It could definitely impact the lifespan of your hardware. So while the software just runs in the background,
Your PC is working overtime.
precisely, it's not truly passive if it's costing you in electricity and potentially shortening the life of your expensive gaming rig.
Okay, valid points. The sources do make a point about timing, though. They say with Bitcoin prices up recently, especially after the halving event, now is an excellent time for beginners.
Yeah, that's a common hook. Ride the wave,
Grabs your attention, right?
for sure. But the price of Bitcoin is, well, it's volatile, hugely volatile.
Yeah.
So a price surge might make mining look profitable now, but that can change really quickly if the price drops.
So relying on the price staying high isn't a safe bet.
Not really a stable strategy, no.
Yeah.
You have to remember how much things can swing in crypto.
True. Now, it is good that the sources mention help is available for beginners.
Oh, yeah. What kind of help?
Things like scheduling time for hand-holding, specific help with buying and setting up rigs, both GPU rigs and those ASIC miners we talked about.
Okay, so some support options.
And that Discord invite again, the hobbyist miner Discord, it suggests there's like a community you can tap into.
Which can be really valuable, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out trying to figure out the tech side.
Yeah, getting tips, staying updated.
Uh-huh. But, it's also wise to be a bit critical of info you get from online communities sometimes. Always good to double-check things.
Absolutely. And speaking of caution, we really need to highlight the disclaimers. They're repeated throughout the sources.
What do they say?
The author is very clear, not an expert. They say they're learning too, just sharing their journey.
Okay, that's honest.
And they strongly advise everyone listening or reading to do their own research, thorough research, and get professional financial advice.
That's crucial advice.
And they explicitly frame the whole thing as being for fun, as a hobby and entertainment.
Right. Not presented as a guaranteed moneymaker or investment advice. That framing hobby and entertainment is really significant. Sets the right expectation.
Definitely. Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive then. What have we found?
Well, the core idea presented is that mining Bitcoin from your home PC using something like NiceHash seems pretty accessible.
Yeah, the steps look straightforward, at least on paper, that 10 or 11 step process. And there's the potential, maybe, to earn something while your computer's just sitting there idle.
But minimal effort doesn't mean zero cost or zero risk.
Right, you've got electricity costs to think about, seriously think about.
The potential wear and tear on your computer hardware is another factor. GPUs aren't cheap.
And the whole thing is tied to the very volatile price of Bitcoin itself.
Exactly. And even the sources we look at are urging caution, telling you to do more homework, and reminding you it's meant for fun like a hobby.
Not professional financial guidance.
Definitely not.
Which sort of leads us perfectly into our final thought for you, the listener. Considering the seemingly easy setup that the sources describe for home Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, the download, click, mine idea.
What are some of the maybe less obvious things someone thinking about this should really dig into further beyond just installing the software?
Good question.
Like, what deeper questions should you ask yourself before jumping in? Maybe something about how mining difficulty changes? Because it does change, right?
Oh, absolutely. It gets harder over time, typically. That affects profitability.
Or maybe the environmental side, the energy consumption discussion that's always around Bitcoin.
That's a big one too.
Yeah.
And even like tax implications. If you do earn some crypto, how is that treated by the tax authorities where you live?
Right. It's clearly way more involved than just a few clicks and watching passive income roll in. Lots to think about.
Definitely more under the surface there.